Minuteman, an American tradition since 1645. Back in the Massachusetts Bay Colony, 25% of the militia that protected the colonies were called as a rapid deployment force, ready to address emergencies that happened in the colonies. These men equipped themselves with their own arms, with their own gear, and they were ready at a minute's notice to stand in the gap. In fact, the Minuteman philosophy was all through U.S. military tradition all the way up until 1916, when the formation of the National Guard was made. Now, of course, for the past close to 100 years, we've lived with relative peace, and we haven't really had a need for a Minuteman. Most of our law enforcement really has served as today's Minutemen, and they do a fine job, and the law enforcement community keeps things in check. But as the old saying goes, when seconds count, help is only minutes away. And that means that you need to take responsibility for your defense, for your loved ones, and for those around you. Now, with the recent economic downturns that we've had, and with the increase in drug violence all around, and in border problems that we're having, not to mention all the stuff that's going on in the Middle East with terror and Iran getting ready to possibly start World War III, it's really important that you start to take a look at your preparations as a Minuteman, being ready at a moment's notice, not only to defend yourself, but to defend your family. This is not necessarily only a call to arms. The Minuteman's prerogative, number one, is to be armed and to be ready to defend. Whether that's with an AR-15 rifle, a 12-gauge shotgun, or a pistol that you have as self-defense. You need to have these items ready to go if you need them. I recently had a friend of mine that was asleep at home in the afternoon, and his next door neighbor was being robbed. And so he was able to take his shotgun, come outside, and to stop a would-be robbery and possibly stop even violence or worse that could have happened to this family. You need to be ready to protect not only yourself, but those around you as well. But to be able to do that, you need to be suitably armed, and you need to have your gear ready to go. One of my favorite authors is Verfal, which he wrote the Modern Survival Guide for the Coming Economic Collapse. And he wrote about the 2001 economic collapse down in Argentina. It wasn't an SHTF situation as far as the whole government collapsed, but crime took a dramatic increase. And so a lot of things changed, and I want to highly recommend that book. Okay, here's Tier 1. This is really what you need for self-defense. Basic. And you need a pistol that has a decent caliber. This is just a little .380 pistol. I have 100 rounds of ammunition. I have an extra magazine, and I have a holster. This little Phobos holster, they're not highly expensive. They're very reasonable. And then you need a good flashlight. If you have these right here, then this is going to get you started to be able to defend yourself in your home. Now you may just have a shotgun, a good 12-gauge pump shotgun. One thing you need to really consider though is to have a way to have extra ammunition. If you hear something in the night, you don't want to rely on just what you have. Make sure you have some backup. Of course, having a setup like this is a little more serious. You have a battle belt. This is my Infidel war belt. I have a G-code holster on here that's really nice with my Beretta. And then over here I have my extra magazines. And this is just a real basic setup. I have other things. I have a knife, but I keep this just in case I really need something serious. Now, one thing I do want to mention about your pistol or any firearm that you're carrying. I recently did a review for a buddy of mine on one of his pistols. It was one of his concealed carry pistols that he carries every day. And when I went to shoot it, the thing malfunctioned like crazy. And the reason why is because there was lint all up in the action. That could have possibly saved his life by me just cleaning that pistol. Keep your firearms maintained, especially the ones that you count on. And of course, for more serious developments, if you have a nice AR-15 or AK-47 or whatever rifle that you may have for self-defense, make sure you have a good load-bearing system to be able to carry magazines and extra ammunition. Good quality is best, but do whatever you can afford to be able to have that ammunition available. Now, one of the most important aspects of being a Minuteman is training. Finding the right training, finding those who know what they're doing to train with, even better yet, going to different schools and different courses where you can really learn how to be very proficient with not only self-defense, but how to handle your firearm safely and yet effectively. This weekend, I'm headed to the South Carolina Gun School to retake their tactical pistol course. You never get enough training, and you should have that as an important part of being a Minuteman.
All right, everybody good and comfortable in transitioning from your rifle to pistol?
Yes, sir.
Later on today, we'll probably do it, speed up a little bit and transition.
Of course, having your firearms is a really important aspect of being a Minuteman, but you also need to consider a good first aid kit. Having all the essentials that you need in case there's a situation you have a problem. This is one that I keep in my shop, but I do have a blowout kit with tourniquets and all that that's in my truck. So having a first aid kit is key. Of course, having a good pair of boots is also really important. Good quality boots. This will help you to tackle any type terrain and keep you from being injured. Also, you want to throw in a good pair of socks with the boots. Now, while food and water kind of fall into the preparation category, to be honest with you, if a crisis hits, store shelves can be wiped out in a matter of minutes. You may not even be near a store or may have the means to get to a store because of work or other situations. So having basic food and water on hand is just, not only is it just mandatory, but it's also easy to do. I mean, these water jugs, they're available at Walmart and a lot of the other Target and a lot of other different places. This food was actually purchased at Walmart. Costco also carries it, Sam's carries bulk food, a lot of different places. But ordering or getting some bulk food to put back, have a 1 to 2 week supply of food, really gives you a lot more options than being in a panic to try to get food in a bad situation. Having your bug out kit or a go bag ready to go with the necessities in here if you have to leave your home or even in your vehicle, having good necessities in one place in itself is a great way to go. Instead of scrounging around looking for things that you might need in a crisis, you have it all together right here. Of course, a good quality bag like this Osprey, this is an expensive, high quality bag. You can do with a lot less. Get something to put your goods in and have it together. Now, I've heard it said 1,000 times, you can't eat gold, you can't eat silver. But I'll tell you this, there are a ton of places out there that are buying gold and silver, and if you can't get to an ATM to get your cash, you can sure go buy one of these buy your gold places and sell this stuff and get cash. I bought this stuff at $5 an ounce, so I'm definitely going to get a great return on my money, even though I don't get market value. It'll be worth whatever it is to get the food and the supplies you need, no matter what you paid for this originally. And we also keep a pretty large sum of cash around in case there are any kind of bank holidays or anything that happens. We have cash available and we have bartering items as well. Now I realize that I'm probably preaching to the choir. Anybody that comes to the Sensible Prepper channel is going to be looking for preps. But the big message here with this video is to encourage you to get your stuff together in one place, to be ready. Most of my friends have all this gear, but they usually don't have it together. If they needed to get it in a moment's notice, they wouldn't necessarily be ready. So let me encourage you to follow the American tradition and be a Minuteman, taking responsibility for yourself, your family, and those you love. The best thing that can happen is that you'll never need it. But if you do, you'll be ready. Be strong, be of good courage. God bless America. Long live the Republic. Man, I need to work on it. This took me about an hour to put together. Don't forget your smoke.